I think it's time. Yes, it's time to bring history back to life.
Cool! It's amazing!
Dreamcast TV.
If you like old movies, then please subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to click the like button to preserve our movie heritage for future generations. Hello YouTubians and internet adventurers. Here we have some of the most beautiful Edwardian stage actresses and fashion trendsetters in the world, immortalised on these rare and original 1914 trade cards. It's a bit ironic that these beauty cards were issued just a few months before one of the ugliest wars in the history of mankind, World War I, when the age of innocence was shattered forever, heralding the beginning of our utopian modern age. Television didn't even exist when these cards came out, and cinema was little more than a novelty fairground attraction next door to the fortune teller's tent. Cards like these provide us with one of the finest records of the interests, desires and fashion trends of the ordinary people nearly 100 years ago, at the beginning of our celebrity-obsessed age that we know so well today. You knew when you made it in those days when you appeared on a cigarette card like these, although in a lot of cases all that remains of these pioneering entertainers are postcards and cigarette cards, like these, as an internet search will quickly reveal. Some of these timeless beauties would also appear in the first ever movies, like Ivy Close, pictured here, who is also featured in one of the first card sets devoted to movie stars, which I've reviewed recently on my YouTube channel. This set includes one of the most photographed beauties from the early 20th century, Gladys Cooper. I've put a full list of all the early actress names in the description, and if you're related to any of them, please feel free to comment. In our digital paradise where reality is being replaced by ones and zeros that can be turned off at the flick of a switch, let's take a well-earned break from our hectic world and check out these beautiful picture cards. Here in the West we're now drowned in information and endless choices, which is in stark contrast to when these cards were issued. And that's why, although looking back it is difficult to understand how important and influential these cards were, the early advertisers were quick to use them to promote their products globally. The 1910s is a bit of a no man's land sandwiched between the optimistic Edwardian era and the carefree Jazz Age. In fact, there really doesn't seem to be a proper memorable name for the 1910s, as if its identity has been unwittingly erased from the public's consciousness. Many describe the items and even period dramas set in the 1910s as Edwardian, such as the first series of Downton Abbey, despite the fact that King Edward VII died in 1910. It's as if people want to forget and distance themselves from the negative karma and doom and gloom associated with the 1910s, such as the sinking of the unsinkable ship, the Titanic, and the mass death and destruction in World War I. In contrast, the Roaring Twenties was so popular that there are multiple names for that decade, like the Roaring Twenties, the Jazz Age, or just simply the 20s. Yet if you look a bit deeper, you'll find that many of the cultural changes in the Jazz Age were in fact initiated in the preceding decade. Check these 1915 cards out, which I've recently uploaded a video of on YouTube. They feature an early actress with an instantly recognisable headband and feathers, which has now morphed into the generic 1920s flapper look that is widely available in most commercial fancy dress shops today. But of course little details like that subconsciously shape and distort our perceptions of the past itself. Thank goodness we have ephemera, old movie clips and cards like these to show us what it was really like at that time. Prior to cinema taking off, musicals and theatre have been the most dominant form of entertainment for years. These early actresses were much freer and more independent than most women of their age, but that resulted in them being more susceptible to ridicule and scandals in a morally prudish society. It's interesting to know that although society looked down on these relatively liberated stage actresses, they in turn initially looked down on their movie counterparts, which reminds me of the John Cleese and Two Ronnies comedy sketch about class structure. I guess it's a character trait that has been ingrained into society over the centuries. Thank you for taking the time to check out these timeless cards of these early trendsetters who laid the foundations to the age of the celebrity and our modern world today. Please feel free to check out the largest collection of videos of the earliest movie trade cards in the world on my channel. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to come along to my card museum at creamofcards.com.
Oh no! I'm afraid we've run out of time. But just before you go, please leave thumbs up below. And if you'd like to see more amazing video clips like this,
Subscribe to the channel
by clicking on the icon up in the sky.
at Cream of Cards TV.